The traditional media world was one where we would create stuff and then we would distribute it. If it was print, we'd do it off a press, put it in a truck, and send it out on a truck to be delivered. Or if it's a broadcast, we produce expensively some broadcast and then distribute it through the airwaves. What we're doing now is much more about creating stuff and then making it available. It's not about distribution in that older way. Making the consumers into producers, which is really an amazing thing. And more interestingly, in the long run, I think, is that the producers, the creators, are becoming collaborators. A question that comes up a lot in my world is, who's a journalist? And it's one that I tend to not be that interested in. The question for me that I care about is what's journalism in this world? And I want to focus a bit on what journalism is. I'm in love with the content, people creating their own stuff online. Some of it's journalism, but most is not. And the part I want to focus on is where we end up in this new ecosystem. Because it's good for any community you care about, because being a better user of media, consumer of media, also these days implies being a creator of media, and that we're talking about news as a conversation as opposed to a lecture, and that gives all of us the opportunity not to be journalists, but to help each other understand and deal with the world in a better way. Principles of journalism are pretty much the same no matter what, but people who are writing a blog that's of interest to a very small number of people have a different worldview, if you want, that would not be of interest to traditional media. The main thing that traditional journalism organizations should be getting from these conversational tools is that this is conversational and that they can learn a lot from the people in their community, not just from their official sources, and that there's a great symbiotic process. Well, it'll be a limited one until there's more broader access to the technology. But a lot of interesting mobile experiments are going on around Africa and other parts of the world where there's less PC-enabled internet access. So I wouldn't assume that this won't take root here in ways that have not taken root in other countries. But over time, the technology will get less expensive and more powerful, and over time, I think access will be less of an issue than much more important and more intractable societal issues like education and health and income and access to the fullness of society as opposed to the one element we call the internet. I've made a few personal bets, but they're not the kinds of thing that are the next big thing. I think again, the creativity in the world that's amplified by the low cost of being creative now means that it's going to come from utterly unexpected sources and in ways that almost no one is smart enough now to tell you.